it's a whole different thing doing it on Zoom. So we're just going to uh, do all the plays and have fun with them. And I think that just a few sort of basics of the way that we're doing it, we're going to be doing it, and it's going to also be now live streaming on YouTube, and then it will be saved as on the Instant Shakespeare Company YouTube channel. So we'll be doing that, and I just wanted to let everybody know about that. The Instant Shakespeare Company does readings and other events. We're going to be this next week. I haven't decided what we're doing next Saturday as for a play reading, but we're doing on Wednesday. We're going to have our Exploring Shakespeare, which is sort of a discussion about themes relating to Shakespeare. We want to talk about Shakespeare and as a vehicle for protest, and how Shakespeare has been involved in various forms of protest over history. And also, on Thursday, I'm just going to have, we're going to get to the point where we also have readings on Saturdays and Thursdays, but this Thursday, I just wanted to have a chance to sort of explore reading the first folio on Zoom, because there's also the challenges of reading on Zoom, and also the folio that can also make it difficult at times. So that is what we've got scheduled, and I welcome you to come. I think we've got pretty much we've got our reading cast today. If there's anybody in the audience who does want to read, I do have like a role available, a small role, but just raise your hand and let me know. And
am I doing host and third outlaw?
I think you will. Yeah, I wanted to wait till you were on to talk about what we should do with that. I think that Eleanor, I know you can sing the song, and you would like to sing the song, and that should be different from the host. So I think David, would you also take on the host just as well? And yeah, Eleanor, you'll be the third outlaw, and I'll be the first outlaw, and Marn will be the second outlaw.
Even though the host asks for music, it doesn't mean that the host can't also join in the music.
Well, you're doing Speed, so I mean, I think
Speed's last roll is at 3-1, and the host starts in Act 4.
Well, thank you for giving me the host. I much appreciate it, since I don't know.
Yeah, it is, we want to sort of be equitable. And now yes, Jennifer has joined us. Great. Jennifer, could you take on, I guess I should email you the script, Panthino.
Yes. Which part do you need me to take?
Panthino I'll just email you the text on page 14 is when he comes in. He's Antonio. Antonio is, well, maybe I should just sort of say, hi, I'm Paul Sugarman. This is the Instant Shakespeare Company. We're doing a reading of The Two Gentlemen of Verona using our first folio editions. And now if each of the actors would introduce themselves and say what character they're playing.
Hi, I'm Cal Perek. I'm playing Valentine.
All right, I'm Paul Carazone. I'm playing Proteus.
Jessica Albano, Julia.
David Lutzer playing Antonio, Sir Aglamore, and the host.
Michaela Petrilla, Sylvia.
I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman, and I'm playing Speed.
I'm Jennifer Finger, and I'll be playing Panthea.
And you can have Outlaw 1 as well. So
I'm Outlaw 1.
And so
Kenneth Wayne, I'm the Duke of Milan.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Julie Kirshner. I'm playing Sir Thurio.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's everyone except for what happened. I thought she was on before.
Okay, and I'll need this.
My wife, who is playing Lucetta, who seems to have lost her connection. So, anyways, we will. That's doesn't come in for a bit. So, anyways, just to reiterate, the idea of the Instant Shakespeare Company is to sort of come together without any rehearsal and just trust the text, and to work from the first folio edition of the text. Now we'll be reading it from either on the screen or from on the screen or on your device, and I'll be reading the stage directions, although I will, the first folio stage directions, one little note about this is that the first folio stage directions are often wrong, in that the compositor who set The Two Gentlemen of Verona wanted to put all of the names in the at the beginning of the scene, even though they don't come in until later in the scene. So it's pretty much common sense to figure out. And the way for participants, what we want you to do is to unmute yourself and hide your video when you're not in the scene. And when you're in the scene, I mean, have your video on. And also just be aware, it's like if there's other noise or something that's happening, to be aware to mute your background, because part of the way that Zoom works is it'll just go to where the sound is, and then it sort of blocks the other thing, since that's one of the things that has been a problem with this. So now, so then without further ado, unless there's any questions from the cast.
Is there going to be an intermission?
No, we're going to go straight through. So without further ado.
Just one further question. Okay, I don't have that question.
Okay, so we're going to just have some fun with this, enjoy the text and the chance to be with us, even though we're not in the same space. We're still sort of doing this in the same time. So enjoy that, and I will. And now we can begin. I'm trying. Okay. All righty. A few more who we've got to promote panelist. And yeah, we had a few issues here. All righty. All righty. So, and now we begin. Actus primus, scena prima. Valentine, Proteus, but not yet speed.
Cease to persuade, my loving Proteus. Home-keeping youth have never homely wits. Were it not affection chains by tender days to the sweet glances of thy honored love, I rather would entreat thy company to see the wonders of the world abroad, living dully sluggardized at home. Wear out thy youth for shapeless idleness, but since thou lovest, still love and thrive therein, even as I would when I to love begin.
Wilt thou be gone? Sweet Valentine, adieu. Think on thy Proteus, when thou happily see some rare noteworthy object in thy travel, which me partaker in thy happiness, when thou dost meet good hap in thy danger, if ever danger do environ thee, commend thy grievance to my holy prayers, for I will be thy beadsman, Valentine.
And in a love book pray for my success?
Upon some book I love, I'll pray for thee.
That's on some shallow story of deep love, how young Leander crossed the Hellespont?
That's a deep story of a deeper love, for he was more than over shoes in love.
'Tis true, for you are over boots in love, and yet never swum the Hellespont.
Over the boots, nay, give me not the boots.
No, I will not, for it boots thee not.
What?
To be in love where scorn is bought with groans, coy looks with heart-sore sighs, one fading moments with 20 watchful, weary, tedious nights. If happily won, perhaps a hapless gain. If lost, why then a grievous labor won. However, but a folly bought with wit, or else a wit by folly vanquished.
So by your circumstance, you call me a fool.
So by your circumstance, I fear you'll prove.
'Tis love you cavil at. I am not love.
Love is your master, for he masters you. And he that is so yoked by a fool, methinks should not be chronicled for wise.
Yet writers say, as in the sweetest bud, the eating canker dwells, so eating love inhabits in the finest wits of all.
And the writers say, as the most forward bud is eaten by the canker aired below, even so by love the young and tender wit is turned to folly, blasting in the bud, losing his verdure even in his prime, and all the fair effects of future hopes. But wherefore waste I time to counsel thee? That art a votary to fond desire. Once more, adieu. My father at the road expects my coming, there to see me shipped.
And thither will I bring thee, Valentine.
Sweet Proteus, no, now let us take our leave. To Milan, let me hear from thee by letters of thy success in love, and what news else betideth here in absence of thy friend. And I likewise will visit thee with mine.
All happiness be chanced to thee in Milan.
As much to you at home, and so, farewell.
He after our hunts, I after love. He leaves his friends to dignify them more. I love myself, my friends, and all for love. Though Julia, thou hast metamorphosed me, made me neglect my studies, lose my time, war with good counsel, set the world at naught, made wit with musing weak, heart sick with thought.
Enter Speed.
Page?
4. Sir Proteus save you.
One moment. Sir Proteus, save you, saw you my master.
But now he parted hence to embark for Milan.
20 to 1 then, he is shift already, and I have played the sheep in losing him.
Indeed, a sheep doth very often stray, and if the shepherd be a while away.
You conclude that my master is a shepherd then, and I a sheep?
I do.
Why then, my horns are his horns, whether I wake or sleep.
A silly answer, and fitting well a sheep.
This proves me still a sheep.
True, and thy master a shepherd.
Nay, that I can deny by a circumstance.
It shall go hard, but I'll prove it by another.
The shepherd seeks the sheep, and not the sheep the shepherd. But I seek my master, and my master seeks not me. Therefore, I am no sheep.
The sheep for fodder follow the shepherd, and the shepherd for food follows not the sheep. Though for wages followest thy master, and thy master for wages follows not thee. Therefore, thou art a sheep.
Such another proof will make me cry, bah!
What's thou here? Gavest thou my letter to Julia?
I, sir, I, a lost mutton, gave your letter to her, a laced mutton, and she, a laced mutton, gave me, a lost mutton, nothing for my labor.
Here's too small a pasture for such store of muttons.
If the ground be overcharged, you were best stick her.
Nay, in that you are astray, 'twere best pound you.
Nay, sir, less than a pound shall serve me for carrying your letter.
Take the pound, a pinfold.
From a pound to a pin, fold it over and over, 'tis threefold, too little for carrying a letter to your lover.
But what said she?
I.
Not I. That's naughty.
You mistook, sir. I say she did nod. And you ask me if she did not, and I say aye.
And that set together is naughty.
Now you've taken the pains to set it together. Take it for your pains.
No, no, you shall have it for bearing the letter.
Well, I perceive I must be fain to bear with you.
Why, sir, how do you bear with me?
Marry, sir, the letter very orderly, having nothing but the word naughty for my pains.
Shrew me, but you have a quick wit.
And yet it cannot overtake your slow purse.
Come, open the matter in brief. What said she?
Open your purse, that the money and the matter may both at once be delivered.
Well, sir, here is for your pains. What said she?
Truly, sir, I think you'll hardly win her.
Why, couldst thou perceive so much from her?
Ah, sir, I could perceive nothing at all from her. No, not so much as a ducat for delivering your letter, and being so hard to me that brought your mind, I fear she'll prove as hard to you in telling your mind. Give her no token but stones, for she's as hard as steel.
What said she? Like, nothing?
No, not so much as take this for thy pains, to testify your bounty. I thank you. You have cisterned me, in requital whereof, henceforth carry your letters yourself. And so, sir, I'll commend you to my master.
Go, be gone to save your ship from wreck, which cannot perish having thee aboard, being destined to a drier death on shore. I must go send some better messenger. I fear my Julia would not deign my lines, receiving them from such a worthless post.
Ha!
Exit. Scena secunda. Enter Julia and Lucetta.
But say, Lucetta, now we are alone, wouldst thou then counsel me to fall in love?
Aye, madam. So you stumble not unheedfully.
Of all the fair resort of gentlemen that every day with parle encounter me, in thy opinion, which is worthiest love?
Please you, repeat their names. I'll show my mind according to my shallow, simple skill.
What thinkst thou of the fair Sir Eglamour?
Oh, as of a knight well spoken, neat, and fine. But were I you, he never should be mine.
What thinkst thou of the rich Mercatio?
Well of his wealth, but of himself, so-so.
What thinkst thou of the gentle Proteus?
Lord, Lord, to see what folly reigns in us.
How now, what means this passion at his name?
Pardon, dear madam, 'tis a passing shame that I, unworthy body as I am, should censure thus on lovely gentlemen.
Why not on Proteus as of all the rest?
Then thus, of many good, I think him best.
Your reason?
I have no other but a woman's reason. I think him so because I think him so.
And wouldst thou have me cast my love on him?
I, if you thought your love not cast away.
Why, he of all the rest hath never moved me.
Yet he of all the rest I think best loves ye.
His little speaking shows his love but small.
Fire that's closest kept burns most of all.
They do not love that do not show their love.
Oh, they love least that let men know their love.
I would I knew his mind.
Peruse this paper, madam.
To Julia? Say from whom?
That the contents will show.
Say who gave it thee?
Sir Valentine's page, and sent, I think, from Proteus. He would have given it you, but I, being in the way, did in your name receive it. Pardon the fault, I pray.
Now, by my modesty, a goodly broker, dare you presume to harbor wanton lines, to whisper and conspire against my youth? Now trust me, 'tis an office of great worth, and you an officer fit for the place. There, take the paper, see it be returned, or else return no more into my sight.
To plead for love deserves more fee than hate.
Will ye be gone?
That you may ruminate.
Yet I would I had o'erlooked the letter. It were a shame to call her back again and pray her to a fault for which I chide her. What fool she is that knows I am a maid and would not force the letter to my view, since maids in modesty say no to that which they would have the profferer construe. Fie, how wayward is this foolish love, that like a testy babe will scratch the nurse and presently all humbled kiss the rod. How churlishly I chide Lucetta hence, when willingly I would have had her here. How angrily I taught my brow to frown, when inward joy enforced my heart to smile. My penance is to call Lucetta back and ask remission for my folly past. What ho, Lucetta?
What would your ladyship?
Is't near dinner time?
Oh, I would it were, that you might kill your stomach on your meat, and not upon your maid.
What is that you took up so gingerly?
Nothing.
Why did thou stoop then?
To take a paper up that I let fall.
And is that paper nothing?
Oh, nothing concerning me.
Then let it lie for those that it concerns.
Oh, madam, it will not lie where it concerns, unless it have a false interpreter.
Some love of yours hath writ to you in rhyme.
That I might sing it, madam, to a tune, give me a note your ladyship can set.
As little by such toys as may be possible. Best sing it to the tune of Light O' Love.
Oh, it is too heavy for so light a tune.
Heavy? Belike it hath some burden then.
Aye, and melodious were it, would you sing it?
And why not you?
I cannot reach so high.
Let's see your song. How now, minion?
Keep tune there still, so you will sing it out, and yet methinks I do not like this tune.
You do not?
No, madam, 'tis too sharp.
You, minion, are too saucy.
Nay, now you are too flat. Your song.
The mean is drowned with you unruly bass.
Indeed, I did the bass for Proteus.
This babble shall not henceforth trouble me. Here is a coil with protestation. So get you gone and let the papers lie. You would be fingering them to anger me.
Ooh, she makes it strange, but she would be best pleased to be so angered with another letter.
Nay, I were so angered with the same. Oh, hateful hands to tear such loving words. Injurious wasp to feed on such sweet honey and kill the bees that yield it with your stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Look, here is writ, kind Julia, unkind Julia, as in revenge of thy ingratitude, I throw thy name against the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ, love wounded Proteus, poor wounded name. My bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy wound be thoroughly healed, and thus I search it with a sovereign kiss. But twice or thrice was Proteus written down. Be calm, good wind, blow not a word away, till I've found each letter in the letter, except mine own name. That some whirlwind bear unto a ragged, fearful, hanging rock, and throw it thence into the raging sea. No, here in one line is his name writ twice. Poor forlorn Proteus, passionate Proteus, to the sweet Julia. That I'll tear away. And yet I will not, so prettily he couples it to his complaining names. Thus I will fold them, one upon another. Now kiss, embrace, contend, do what you will.
Madam, dinner is ready, and your father stays.
Well, let us go.
What? Shall these papers lie like telltales here?
If you respect them, best to take them up.
Nay, I was taken up for laying them down, yet here they shall not lie for catching cold.
I see you have a month's mind to them.
I, madam, you may say what sights you see. Sights you see. I see things too, although you judge, I wink.
Come, come, will please you go?
Exeunt. Scena tertia. Enter Antonio and Panthino.
Tell me, Panthino, what sad talk was that? Whereas my brother held you in the cloister.
Was this of his nephew Proteus, your son?
Why? What of him?
He wondered that your lordship would suffer him to spend his youth at home, while other men of slender reputation put forth their sons to seek preferment out, some to wars to try their fortune there, some to discover islands far away, some to studious universities. For any or for all these exercises, he said that Proteus, your son, was meet, and to request me to importune you to let him spend his time no more at home, which would be great impeachment to his age and having known no travail in his youth.
Nor needst thou much importance me to that, where in this month I have been hammering, I have considered well his loss of time and how he cannot perfect man, not being tried and tutored in the world. Experience is by industry achieved and perfected by the swift course of time. Tell me, whether where I was best send him.
I think your lordship is not ignorant how his companion, youthful Valentine, attends the emperor in his royal court.
I know it well.
What good I think your lordship sent him thither. There he shall practice tilts and tournaments, hear sweet discourse, converse with noblemen, and be an eye of every exercise worthy his youth and nobleness of birth.
I like thy counsel. Well hast thou advised, and that thou mayst perceive how well I like it. The execution of it shall make known. Even with the speediest expedition, I will dispatch him to the emperor's court.
Tomorrow, may it please you, Don Alfonso, with other gentlemen of good esteem, are journeying to salute the emperor and to commend their service to his will.
Good company, and with them shall Proteus go, and good time. Now will we break with him.
Sweet love, sweet lines, sweet life. Here is her hand, the agent of her heart. Here is her oath for love, her honor's pawn. Oh, that our fathers would applaud our loves to seal our happiness with their consents. Oh, heavenly Julia.
How now? What letter are you reading there?
Oh, may please your lordship, 'tis a word or two of commendation sent from Valentine, delivered by a friend that came from him.
Lend me the letter. Let me see what news.
There is no news, my lord, but that he writes how happily he lives, how well beloved and daily graced by the emperor, wishing me with him, partner of his fortune.
And how stand you affected to his wish?
As one relying on your lordship will, and not depending on his friendly wish.
My will is something sorted with his wish. Muse not that I sedanely proceed. For what I will, and there an end. I am resolved that thou shalt spend some time with Valentinius in the emperor's court. What maintenance he had from his friends receives. By exhibition thou shalt have from me. Tomorrow be in readiness to go. Excuse it not, for I am peremptory.
My lord, I cannot be so soon provided. Please, you deliberate a day or two.
Look, what thou want shall be sent after thee. No more of stay, and tomorrow thou shalt be gone. Thou shalt go. Come on, Parthenia. You shall be employed to hasten on his expedition.
Thus have I shunned the fire for fear of burning, and drenched me in the sea where I am drowned. I fear to show my father Julia's letter, lest he should take exceptions to my love, and with the vantage of mine own excuse, hath he accepted most against my love. Oh, how this spring of love resembleth, which now shows all the beauty of the sun, and by a cloud takes all away.
Sir Proteus, your father's called for you. He is in haste, therefore I pray you go.
Why, this it is. My heart accords thereto, and yet 1,000 times it answers no.
Exeunt, fini, actus secundus, scena prima. Enter Valentine and Speed. Sylvia does not enter until later.
Sir, your glove.
Not mine. My gloves are on.
Why then, this may be yours, for this is but one.
Let me see. Aye, give it to me. It's mine. Sweet ornament that decks a thing divine. Ah, Sylvia, Sylvia.
Madam Sylvia, Madam Sylvia.
How now, sir?
She is not within hearing, sir.
Why, sir? Who bade you call her?
Your worship, sir, or else I mistook.
Well, you'll still be too forward.
And yet I was last chidden for being too slow.
Go to, sir. Tell me, do you know Madam Sylvia?
She that your worship love?
Why, how know you that I'm in love?
Marry by these special marks. First, you've learned, like Sir Proteus, to wreathe your arms like a malcontent, to relish a love song like a robin redbreast, to walk alone like one that had the pestilence, to sigh like a schoolboy that had lost his ABC, to weep like a young wench that had buried her grandam, to fast like one that takes diet, to watch like one that fears robbing, to speak puling like a beggar at Hallowmas. You were wont, when you laughed, to crow like a cock, when you walked, to walk like one of the lions, when you fasted, it was presently after dinner, when you looked sadly, it was for want of money. And now you are metamorphosized with a mistress that when I look on you, I can hardly think you my master.
Are all these things perceived in me?
They are all perceived without you.
Without me? They cannot.
Without you? Nay, that's certain, for without you were so simple, none else would. But you are so without these follies, that these follies are within you and shine through you like the water in a urinal, that not an eye that sees you, but is a physician to comment on your malady.
But tell me, dost thou know my lady Sylvia?
She that you gaze on so as she sits at supper.
How hast thou observed that? Even she, I mean.
Why, sir, I know her not.
Dost thou know her by my gazing on her, and yet knowest her not?
Um, is she not hard favored, sir?
Not so fair, boy, as well favored.
Sir, I know that well enough.
What dost thou know?
That she is not so fair as of you well favored.
I mean, that her beauty is exquisite, but her favor infinite.
That's because the one is painted and the other out of all count.
How painted and how out of count?
Marry, sir, so painted to make her fair that no man counts of her beauty.
How esteemest thou me? I account of her beauty.
You never saw her since she was deformed.
How long hath she been deformed?
Ever since you loved her.
I have loved her ever since I saw her, and still I see her beautiful.
If you love her, you cannot see her.
Why?
Because love is blind. Oh, that you had mine eyes, or your own eyes had the lights they were wont to have when you chid Sir Protheus for going ungartered.
What should I see then?
Your own present folly and her passing deformity, for he being in love could not see to garter his hose, and you being in love cannot see to put on your hose.
Belike, boy, then you are in love, for last morning you could not see to wipe my shoes.
True, sir. I was in love with my bed. I thank you. You swinged me for my love, which makes me the bolder to chide you for yours.
In conclusion, I stand affected to her.
I would you were set so your affection would cease.
Last night she enjoyed me to write some lines to one she loves.
And have you?
I have.
Are they not lamely writ?
No, boy, but as well as I can do them. Peace, here she comes.
Oh, excellent motion, oh, exceeding puppet. Now will he interpret to her.
Madam and mistress, 1,000 good morrows.
Oh, give ye good e'en, here's 1,000,000 of manners.
Sir Valentine and servant, to you 2,000.
He should give her interest, and she gives it him.
As you enjoyed me, I have writ you a letter unto the secret, nameless friend of yours, which I was much unwilling to proceed in, but for my duty to your ladyship.
I thank you, gentle servant. 'Tis very clerkly done.
Now, trust me, madam, it came hardly off, for being ignorant to whom it goes. I writ at random, very doubtfully.
Perchance you think too much of so much pains.
No, madam, so it steed you, I will write, please you command, 1,000 times as much. And yet...
A pretty period, well, I guess a sequel, and yet I will not name it, and yet I care not, and yet, take this again, and yet I thank you, meaning henceforth to trouble you no more.
And yet you will, and yet, another yet.
What means your ladyship? Do you not like it?
Yes, yes, the lines are very quaintly writ, but since unwillingly, take them again. Nay, take them.
Madam, they are for you.
Aye, you writ them, sir, at my request, but I will none of them. They are for you. I would have had them writ more movingly.
Please you, I'll write your ladyship another.
And when it's writ, for my sake, read it over, and if it please you, so. If not, why so?
If it please me, madam, what then?
Why, if it please you, take it for your labor. And so, good morrow, servant.
Oh, just unseen, inscrutable, invisible as a nose on a man's face, or a weathercock on a steeple. My master sues to her, and she hath taught her suitor, he being her pupil, to become her tutor. What excellent device! Was there ever heard a better, that my master, being scribe to himself, should write the letter?
How now, sir? What are you reasoning with yourself?
Nay, I was rhyming. 'Tis you that have the reason.
To do what?
To be a spokesman from Madame Sylvia.
To whom?
To yourself. Why, she woos you by a figure.
What figure?
By a letter, I should say.
Why, she hath not writ to me.
What needs she when she hath made you write to yourself? Why do you not perceive the jest?
No, believe me.
No believing you indeed, sir. But did you perceive her earnest?
She gave me none except an angry word.
Why, she hath given you a letter.
That's the letter I writ to her friend.
And that letter hath she delivered, and there an end.
I would it were no worse.
I warrant you 'tis as well, for often have you writ to her, and she in modesty, or else for want of idle time, could not again reply, or fearing else some messenger that might her mind discover, herself have taught her love himself to write unto her. All this I speak in print, for in print I found it. Why muse you, sir? 'Tis dinner time.
I have dined.
Ay, but hearken, sir. Though the chameleon love can feed on the air, I am one that is nourished by my victuals, and would fain have meat. Oh, be not like your mistress. Be moved. Be moved.
Exeunt. Scena secunda. Enter Proteus and Julia. Panthino comes in later.
Have patience, gentle Julia.
I must, where is no remedy.
When possibly I can, I will return.
If you turn not, you will return the sooner. Keep this remembrance, for thy Julia's sake.
Why then, we'll make exchange. Here, take you this.
And seal the bargain with a holy kiss.
Here's my hand for my true love constancy. And when that hour o'erslips me in the day, wherein I sigh not, Julia, for thy sake, the next ensuing hour, some foul mischance torment me for my love's forgetfulness. My father stays my coming. Answer not. The tide is now. Nay, not the tide of tears. That tide will stay me longer than I should. Julia, farewell. What, gone without a word? So true love should do. It cannot speak, for truth hath better deeds than words to grace it.
Sir Proteus, you are stayed for.
Go, I come, I come. Alas, this partaking strikes poor lovers dumb.
Exeunt. Scena tertia. Enter Launce. Panthino later.
Nay, 'twill be this hour ere I have done weeping, all the kind of the launces of this very fault. I have received my proportion like the prodigious son, and I am going with Sir Proteus to the Imperial's court. I think Crab, my dog, be the sourest natured dog that lives. My mother weeping, my father wailing, my sister crying, our maid howling, our cat wringing her hands, and all our house in a great perplexity. Yet did not this cruel-hearted cur shed one tear. He is a stone, a very pebbled stone, and there's no more pity in him than a dog. A Jew would have wept to see their parting. Why, my grandam, having no eyes, look you, wept herself blind at my parting. Nay, I'll show you the manner of it. This shoe is my father. No. This left shoe is my father. No. This left shoe is my mother. No, that cannot be so, neither. Yet, it is so. It is so. It hath the worser soul. This shoe with a hole in it is my mother, and this my father. Vengeance on it. No, there 'tis. Now, sir, this staff is my sister. For look you, she's as white as a lily and as small as a wand. This hat is Nan, our maid, and I am the dog. No, the dog is himself, and I am the dog. Oh, the dog is me, and I am myself. So, now, I come to my father. Father, your blessing. Now should not the shoe speak a word for weeping? Now should I kiss my father? Well, he weeps on. Now I come to my mother. Oh, that she could speak now like a wood woman. Well, I kiss her. Right, there 'tis. Here's my mother's breath up and down. Now I come to my sister. Mark the moan she makes. Now the dog all this while sheds not a tear, nor speaks a word, but see how I lay the dust with my tears.
Launce, away, away. Aboard, the master is shipped, and thou art to post after with oars. What's the matter? Why weepst thou, man? Wait, ass, to lose the tide if you'll tarry any longer.
But it's no matter if the tide were lost, for it is the unkindest tide that ever man tied.
What's the unkindest tide?
Why, that's tied here. Crab, my dog.
Tut, man. I mean, thou loose the flood, and in loosing the flood, lose thy voyage. And losing thy voyage, lose thy master, and losing thy master, lose thy service. And in losing thy service, why dost thou stop my mouth?
For fear thou wouldst lose thy tongue.
Where should I lose my tongue?
In thy tail.
In thy tail.
Loose the tide and the voyage and the master and the service and the tide. Why, man, if the river were dry, I'm able to fill it up with my tears. If the wind were down, I could drive the boats with my sighs.
Come away, man. I was sent to call thee.
Sir, call me what thou darest.
Wilt thou go?
Well, I will go.
Exeunt, Sina Quarta, enter Valentine, Silvia, Speed, Thurio, Duke Proteus.
Servant.
Mistress.
Master, Sir Thurio frowns on you.
Hi, boy. It's for love.
Not of you.
Of my mistress, then.
'Twere good you knocked him.
Servant, you are sad.
Indeed, madam, I seem so.
Seem you that you are not?
Happily, I do.
So do counterfeits.
So do you.
What seem I that I am not?
Wise.
Huh, what instance of the contrary?
Your folly.
And how quote you my folly?
I quote you it in your jerkin.
My jerkin is a doublet.
Well, then I'll double your folly.
Oh.
What? Angry, Sir Thurio? Do you change color?
I give him leave, madam. He's kind of a chameleon.
That hath more mind to feed on your blood than live in your ire.
You have said, sir.
Aye, sir, and done too for this time.
I know it well, sir. You always end ere you begin.
A fine volley of words, gentlemen, and quickly shot off.
'Tis indeed, madam, we thank the giver.
Who is that, servant?
Yourself, sweet lady, for you gave the fire Sir Thurio borrows with his wit from your ladyship's looks, and spends what he borrows kindly in your company.
Sir, if you spend word for word with me, I shall make your wit bankrupt.
I know it well, sir. You have an exchequer of words, and I think no other treasure to give your followers, for it appears by their bare liveries that they live by your bare words.
No more, gentlemen, no more. Here comes my father.
Now, daughter Sylvia, you are hard beset. Sir Valentine, your father's in good health. What say you to a letter from your friends of much good news?
My lord, I will be thankful to any happy messenger from thence.
Know you Don Antonio, your countryman?
Aye, my good lord, I know the gentleman to be of worth and worthy estimation, and not without desert, so well reputed.
Hath he not a son?
Aye, my good lord, a son that well deserves the honor and regard of such a father.
You know him well?
I know him as myself. From our infancy, we have conversed and spent our hours together, and though myself have been an idle truant, omitting the sweet benefit of time, to clothe mine age with angel-like perfection, yet hath Sir Proteus, for that's his name, made use and fair advantage of his days. His years but young, but his experience old, his head unmellowed, but his judgment ripe. And in a word, or far behind his worth, comes all the praise that I now bestow. He is complete in feature and in mind, with all good grace to grace a gentleman.
True me, sir, but if he make this good, he is as worthy for an empress' love as me to be an emperor's counselor. Well, sir, this gentleman is come to me with commendation from great potentates, and here he means to spend his time a while. I think 'tis no unwelcome news to you.
Should I have wished a thing, it had been he.
Welcome him then, according to his worth. Sylvia, I speak to you, and you, Sir Thurio. For Valentine, I need not cite him to it. I'll send him hither to you presently.
This is the gentleman I told your ladyship had come along with me, but that his mistress did he hold eyes locked in her crystal looks.
The life that now she hath enfranchised them upon some other pawn for fealty.
Nay, sure, I think she holds him prisoner still.
Nay, then he should be blind, and being blind, how could he see his way to seek out you?
Why, lady, love hath 20 pairs of eyes.
They say that love hath not an eye at all.
To see such lovers, Thurio, as yourself, upon a homely object, love can wink.
Have done, have done. Here comes the gentleman.
Welcome, dear Proteus. Mistress, I beseech you, confirm his welcome with some special favor.
His worth is warrant for his welcome hither. If this be he you oft have wished to hear from.
Mistress, it is. Sweet lady, entertain him to be my fellow servant to your ladyship.
Too low a mistress for so high a servant.
Not so, sweet lady, but too mean a servant to have a look of such a worthy mistress.
Leave off discourse of disability. Sweet lady, entertain him for your servant.
My duty will I boast of, nothing else.
And duty never yet did want his need. Servant, you are welcome to a worthless mistress.
I'll die on him that says so, but yourself,
That you are welcome.
that you are worthless.
Madam, my lord your father would speak with you.
I wait on his pleasure. Come, Sir Thurio, go with me. Once more, new servant, welcome. I'll leave you to confer of home affairs. When you have done, we look to hear from you.
We'll both attend upon your ladyship.
Now tell me, how do all from whence you came?
Your friends are well and have the much commended.
And how do yours?
I left them all in health.
How does your lady, and how thrives your love?
My tales of love were wont to weary you. I know you joy not in love discourse.
Aye, Proteus, but that life is altered now. I have done penance for condemning love, whose high imperious thoughts have punished me, with bitter fasts, with penitential groans, with nightly tears and daily heart sore sighs. For in revenge of my contempt of love, love hath chased sleep from my enthralled eyes, and I made them watchers of mine own heart's sorrow. Oh, gentle Proteus, love's a mighty lord, and hath so humbled me, as I confess there is no woe to his correction, nor to his service, no such joy on earth. Now, no discourse, except it be in love. Now can I break my fast, dine, sup, and sleep upon the very naked name of love.
Enough. I read your fortune in your eye. Was this the idol that you worship so?
Even she, and is she not a heavenly saint?
No, but she is an earthly paragon.
And call her divine.
I will not flatter her.
Oh, flatter me, for love delights in praises.
When I was sick, you gave me bitter pills, and I must minister the like to you.
Then speak the truth by her. If not divine, yet let her be a principality, sovereign to all the creatures on the earth.
Except my mistress.
Sweet, accept not any, except thou wilt, except against my love.
Have I not reason to prefer mine own?
And I will help thee to prefer her too. She shall be dignified with this high honor to bear my lady's train, lest the base earth should from her virtue chance to steal a kiss, and of so great a favor growing proud, disdain to root the summer swelling flower, and make rough winter everlasting.
Why, Valentine, what braggadism is this?
Pardon me, Proteus, all I can is nothing to her, whose worth makes other worthies nothing. She is alone.
Then let her alone.
Not for the world. Why, man, she is mine own, and as a rich in having such a jewel as 20 seas, if all their sand were pearl, the water, nectar, and the rocks pure gold. Forgive me that I do not dream on thee, because thou seest me dote upon my love, my foolish rival that her father likes, only for his possessions are so huge as gone with her along, and I must after, for love. Thou knowest it's full of jealousies.
But she loves you.
Aye, and we are betrothed. Nay more, our marriage, however, with all the cunning manner of our flight determined of, how I must climb her window, the ladder made of cords, and all the means plotted, and agreed on for my happiness. Good Proteus, go with me to my chamber in these affairs, to aid me with my counsel.
Go on before, I shall inquire you forth. I must unto the road to disembark some necessaries that I need must use, and then I'll presently attend you.
Will you make haste?
I will, even as one heat another heat expels, or as one nail by strength drives out another, so the remembrance of my former love is by a newer object, quite forgotten. It is mine, or Valentine's praise. Her true perfection, or my false transgression, that makes me reasonless, to reason thus. She is fair. So is Julia that I love, that I did love, for now my love is thawed, which like a waxen image against a fire bears no impression of the thing it was. Methinks my zeal to Valentine is cold, and that I love him not as I was wont, so but I love this lady too much, and that the reason I love him so little. How shall I dote on her with more advice, that thus without advice begin to love her? 'Tis but her picture I have yet beheld, and that hath dazzled my reason light. But when I look on her perfections, there is no reason, but I shall be blind. If I can check my erring love, I will. If not, to compass her, I'll use my skill.
Sina Quinta, enter Speed and Launce.
Launce, by my honesty, welcome to Padua.
Forswear not thyself, you sweet youth, for I am not welcome. I reckon as always that the man is never undone till he be hanged, nor never welcome to a place till some certain shot be paid and the hostess say welcome.
Come on, you madcap. I'll to the alehouse with you presently, where for 1 shot of 5 pence thou shalt have 5,000 welcomes. But, sirrah, how did thy master part with Madam Julia?
Oh, marry, after they closed in earnest, they parted very fairly in jest.
But shall she marry him?
No.
How then? Shall he marry her?
No, neither.
What, are they broken?
No, they are both as whole as a fish.
Why then, how stands the matter with them?
Well, marry, thus when it stands well with him, it stands well with her.
What an ass art thou! I understand thee not.
What a block thou art! That thou canst not. My staff understands me.
What thou sayest?
Aye, and what I do too. Look thee, I'll but lean, and my staff understands me.
It stands under thee, indeed.
Why, stand under and understand is all one.
But tell me true, will't be a match?
Ask my dog. If he say aye, it will. If he say no, it will. If he shake his tail and say nothing, it will.
The conclusion is, then, that it will.
Oh, thou shalt never get such a secret from me, but by a parable.
'Tis well that I get it so. But, Lance, how sayst thou that my master is become a notable lover?
I never knew him otherwise.
Then how?
A notable lubber, as thou reportest him to be.
Why, thou horse and ass, thou mistakes me.
Why, fool, I meant not thee, I meant thy master.
I tell thee, my master is become a hot lover.
Why, I tell thee, I care not, though he burn himself in love. If thou wilt go with me to the alehouse, if not, thou art a Hebrew, a Jew, and not worth the name of a Christian.
Why?
Because thou hast not so much charity in thee as to go to the ale with a Christian. Wilt thou go?
At thy service.
Exeunt. Scena sexta. Enter Proteus solus.
Leave my Julia, shall I be forsworn? To love fair Sylvia, shall I be forsworn? To wrong my friend, I shall be much, much forsworn. And even that power which gave me first my oath provokes me to this threefold perjury. Love bade me swear, and love bids me forswear. Oh, sweet suggesting love, if thou hast sinned, teach me, thy tempted subject, to excuse it. At first I did adore a twinkling star, but I worship a celestial sun. Unheedful vows may heedfully be broken, and he wants wit, that once resolved will, to learn his wit, exchange the bad for better. Fie, fie, unrevenged tongue, to call her bad, whose sovereignty so oft thou hast preferred, with 20,000 soul-confirming oaths. I cannot leave to love, yet I do. But there I leave to love where I should love. Julia, I lose, and Valentine, I lose. If I keep them, I needs must lose myself. If I lose them, thus find I by their loss for Valentine, myself, for Julia, Sylvia. I to myself am dearer than a friend, for love is still most precious in itself. And Sylvia, witness heaven that made her fair, shows Julia but a swarthy Ethiop. I will forget that Julia is alive, remembering that my love to her is dead, and Valentine, I'll hold an enemy, aiming at Sylvia as a sweeter friend. I cannot now prove constant to myself without some treachery used to Valentine. This night he meaneth with a corded ladder to climb celestial Sylvia's chamber window, myself in counsel his competitor. Now, presently, I'll give her father notice of their disguising and pretending flights, who all in rage will banish Valentine. For Thurio he intends shall wed his daughter, but Valentine being gone, and I'll quickly cross by some sly trick, blunt Thurio's dull proceeding. Love, lend me wings to make my purpose swift, as thou hast lent me wit to plot this drift.
Exit. Scena septima. Enter Julia and Lucetta.
Counsel, Lucetta, gentle girl, assist me, and evening kind love I do conjure thee, who art the table wherein all my thoughts are visibly charactered and engraved, to lesson me, and tell me some good mean, how with my honor I may undertake a journey to my loving Proteus.
Alas, the way is wearisome and long.
A true devoted pilgrim is not weary to measure kingdoms with his feeble steps. Much less shall she that hath love's wings to fly. And when the flight is made to one so dear, of such divine perfection as Sir Proteus.
Better forbear till Proteus make return.
Oh, knowest thou not, his looks are my soul's food. Pity the dearth that I have pined in by longing for that food for so long a time. Didst thou but know the inly touch of love, thou wouldst as soon go kindle fire with snow as seek to quench the fire of love with words.
I do not seek to quench your love's hot fire, but qualify the fire's extreme rage, lest it should burn above the bounds of reason.
The more thou damp'st it up, the more it burns. The current that with gentle murmur glides, thou know'st being stopped impatiently doth rage. But when his fair course is not hindered, he makes sweet music with the enameled stones, giving a gentle kiss to every sedge he overtaketh in his pilgrimage. And by so many winding nooks he strays with willing sport to the wild ocean. Then let me go, and hinder not my course. I'll be as patient as a gentle stream, and make a pastime of each weary step, till the last step hath brought me to my love. And there I'll rest, as after much turmoil a blessed soul doth in Elysium.
But in what habit will you go along?
Not like a woman, for I would prevent the loose encounters of lascivious men. Gentle Lucetta, fit me with such weeds as may beseem some well-reputed page.
Why, then your ladyship must cut your hair.
Oh, girl, I'll knit it up in silken strings with 20-odd conceited true love knots. To be fantastic may become a youth of greater time than I shall show to be.
Oh, what fashion, madam, shall I make your breeches?
That fits as well as tell me, good my lord.
What compass will you wear your farthingale?
Why, e'en what fashion thou best likes, Lucetta.
You must needs then have a codpiece, madam.
Out, Lucetta. That will be ill-favored.
A round hose, madam, now's not worth a pin unless you have a codpiece to stick pins on.
Lucetta, as thou lovest me, let me have what thou thinkst meet and is most mannerly. But tell me, wench, how will the world repute me for undertaking so unstayed a journey? I fear me it will make me scandalized.
If you think so, then stay at home and go not.
Nay, that I will not.
Then never dream on infamy, but go. If Proteus like your journey when you come, no matter who's displeased when you are gone, I fear me he will scarce be pleased with all.
That is the least, Lucetta, of my fear. 1,000 oaths, an ocean of his tears, and instances of infinite of love warrant me welcome to my Proteus.
All these are servants to deceitful men.
Base men, that use them to so base effect, but truer stars did govern Proteus' birth. His words are bonds, his oaths are oracles, his love sincere, his thoughts immaculate, his tears pure messengers sent from his heart as far from fraud as heaven from earth.
Pray heaven he prove so when you come to him.
Now, as thou lovest me, do him not that wrong to bear a hard opinion of his truth. Only deserve my love by loving him, and presently go with me to my chamber, to take note of what I stand in need of, to furnish me upon my longing journey. All that is mine, I leave at thy dispose, my goods, my lands, my reputation. Only in lieu thereof, dispatch me hence. Come, answer not, but to it presently. I'm impatient of my tarriance.
Exeunt. Actus tertius scena prima. Enter Duke Thurio Proteus. Valentine, Launce, and Speed come later.
Sir Thurio, give us leave, I pray a while. We have some secrets to confer about. Now tell me, Proteus, what's your will with me?
My gracious lord, that which I would discover The law of friendship bids me to conceal, but when I call to mind your gracious favors done to me, undeserving as I am, my duty pricks me on to utter that which else no worldly good should draw from me. No, worthy Prince Sir Valentine, my friend, this knight intends to steal away your daughter. Myself am one made privy to the plot. I know you have determined to bestow her on Thurio, whom your gentle daughter hates, and should she thus be stolen away from you, and it would be much vexation to your age. Thus, for my duty's sake, I rather choose to cross my friend in his intended drift, than by concealing it heap on your head a pack of sorrows, which would press you down, being unprevented to your timeless grave.
Proteus, I thank thee for thine honest care, which too requites command me while I live. This love of theirs myself have often seen, haply when they have judged me fast asleep, and oftentimes have purposed to forbid Sir Valentine her company and my court. But fearing lest my jealous aim might err, and so unworthily disgrace the man, a rashness that I ever yet have shunned, I gave him gentle looks, thereby to find that which thyself hast now disclosed to me, and that thou mayst perceive my fear of this, knowing that tender youth is soon suggested, I nightly lodge her in an upper tower, the key whereof myself have ever kept, and then she cannot be conveyed away.
No, noble lord, they have devised a mean how he her chamber window will ascend, and with a corded ladder fetch her down, for which the youthful lover now is gone, and which way comes he with presently, where, if it please you, you may intercept him. But, good my lord, do it so cunningly that my discovery be not aimed at, for love of you, not hate unto my friend, hath made me publisher of this pretense.
Upon mine honor, he shall never know that I had any light from thee of this.
Adieu, my lord. Sir Valentine is coming.
Sir Valentine, whither away so fast?
Please it your grace, there's a messenger that stays to bear my letters to my friends, and I'm going to deliver them.
Be they of much import?
The tenure of them doth but signify my health and happy being at your court.
Nay then, no matter, stay with me a while. I am to break with thee of some affairs that touch me near, wherein thou must be secret. 'Tis not unknown to thee that I have sought to match my friend Sir Thurio to my daughter.
I know it well, my lord, and sure the match will rich and honorable. Besides, the gentleman is full of virtue, bounty, worth and qualities, beseeming such a wife as your fair daughter. Cannot your grace win her to fancy him?
No, trust me. She is peevish, sullen, froward, proud, disobedient, stubborn, lacking duty, neither regarding that she is my child's, nor fearing me as if I were her father. And may I say to thee, this pride of hers upon advice hath drawn my love from her. And where I thought the remnants of mine age should have been cherished by her child's like duty, I am now full resolved to take a wife, and turn her out to who will take her in. Then let her beauty be her wedding dower, for me and my possession she esteems not.
What would your grace have me to do in this?
There is a lady, sir, in Milan here, whom I affect, but she is nice and coy, and not esteems my aged eloquence. Now therefore would I have thee to my tutor. For long ago I have forgot to court, Besides, the fashion of the time is changed. How and which way I may bestow myself to be regarded in her sun bright eye.
Win her with gifts. If she respects not words, dumb jewels often in their silent kind, more than quick words, do move a woman's mind.
But she did scorn a present that I sent her.
A woman sometimes scorns what best contents her. Send her another. Never give her over for scorn at first. Make after love the more. If she do frown, 'tis not in hate of you, but rather to beget more love in you. If she do chide, 'tis not to have you gone, For why the fools are mad if left alone. Take no repulse, whatever she doth say. For get you gone, she doth not mean away. Flatter and praise, commend, extol their graces. That man that hath a tongue, I say, is no man, if with his tongue he cannot win a woman.
But she, I mean, is promised by her friends unto a youthful gentleman of worth, and kept severely from resort of men, that no man hath access by day to her.
Why then I would resort to her by night.
Aye, but the doors be locked, and keys kept safe, that no man hath recourse to her by night.
What lets but one may enter at her window?
Her chamber is aloft, far from the ground, and built so shelving that one cannot climb it without apparent hazard of his life.
Why then a ladder, quaintly made of cords to cast up, with a pair of anchoring hooks, would serve to scale another hero's tower. So bold Leander would adventure it.
Now, as thou art a gentleman of blood, advise me where I may have such a ladder.
When would you use it? Pray, sir, tell me that.
This very night. For love is like a child that longs for everything that he can come by.
By 7 o'clock, I'll get you such a ladder.
But hark thee, I will go to her alone.
How shall? It will be light, my lord, that you may bear it, under a cloak that is of any length.
Our cloak, as long as thine, will serve the turn.
Aye, my good lord.
Then let me see thy cloak. I'll get me one of such another length.
Why, any cloak will serve the turn, my lord.
How shall I fashion me to wear a cloak? I pray thee, let me feel thy cloak upon me. What letter is this same? What's here? To Sylvia? And here an engine fit for my proceeding. I'll be so bold to break the seal for once. My thoughts do harbor with my Sylvia nightly, and slaves they are to me that send them flying. Oh, could their master come and go as lightly, himself would lodge where senseless they are lying. My herald's thoughts in thy pure bosom rest them, while I their king, that thither them importune, do curse the grace that with such grace hath blessed them. Because myself do want my servants' fortune, I curse myself, for they are sent by me, that they should harbor where their lord should be. What's here? Sylvia, this night I will enfranchise thee, 'tis so. And here's the letter for thy purpose. Why, Phaeton, for thou art Merip's son, wilt thou aspire to guide the heavenly car, and with thy daring folly burn the world? Wilt thou reach stars because they shine on thee? Go, base intruder, overweening slave. Bestow thy fawning smiles on equal mates, and think my patience more than thy deserter's privilege for thy departure hence. Thank me for this more than for all the favors which all too much I have bestowed on thee. But if thou linger in my territories longer than swiftest expedition will give thee time to leave our royal court, by heaven my wrath shall far exceed the love I ever bore my daughter or thyself. Begone, I will not hear thy vain excuse, but as thou lovest thy life, make speed from hence.
And why not death rather than living torment? To die is to be banished from myself, and Sylvia is myself. Banished from her is self from self, a deadly banishment. What light is light if Sylvia be not seen? What joy is joy if Sylvia be not by, unless it be to think that she is by, and feed upon the shadow of perfection. Except I be by Sylvia in the night, there is no music in the nightingale, unless I look on Sylvia in the day. There is no day for me to look upon. She is my essence, and I leave to be. If I be not by her fair influence, fostered, illuminated, cherished, kept alive, I flee not death. To flee is deadly doom. Tarry I here, I but attend on death, but flee I hence, I flee away from life.
Run, boy, run, and seek him out.
Enter Launce.
Soho! Soho!
What seest thou?
Him we go to find. There's not a hair on his head, but 'tis a Valentine.
Valentine?
No,
Who then? The spirit?
neither.
What then?
Nothing.
Canst nothing speak? Master, shall I strike?
Who wouldst thou strike?
Nothing?
Villain, forbear.
Why, sir, I'll strike nothing, I pray you.
Sirrah, I say forbear. Friend Valentine, a word.
My ears are stopped. I cannot hear good news. So much of bad already hath possessed them.
Then in dumb silence I will bury mine, for they are harsh, untunable, and bad.
Is Sylvia dead?
No, Valentine.
No, Valentine, indeed, for sacred Sylvia. Hath she forsworn me?
No, Valentine.
No, Valentine, if Sylvia hath forsworn me, what is your news?
Sir, there is a proclamation. You are vanished.
That thou art banished. Oh, that's the news from Sylvia and from me, thy friend.
Oh, I have fed upon this woe already. Now excess of it will make me surfeit. Doth Sylvia know that I am banished?
Aye, and she hath offered to the doom which unreverse stands in effectual force, a sea of melting pearl which some call tears. Those at her father's churlish feet she tendered with them upon her knees, her mumbled self wringing her hands, whose witten so became them, as if but now they waxed pale for woe. But neither bended knees, pure hands held up, sad sighs, deep groans, nor silver shredding tears could penetrate her uncompassionate sire. But Valentine, if she be ta'en, must die. Besides, her intercession chafed him so, when she for the repeal was suppliant, that to close prison he commanded her, with many bitter threats of bidding there.
No more, unless the next word that thou speakest have some malignant power upon my life. If so, I pray thee breathe it in my ear, as ending end of my endless dolor.
Cease to lament for that thou canst not help, and study help for that which thou lamentest. Time is the nurse and breeder of all good. Here, if thou stay, thou canst not see thy love. Besides, thy staying will abridge thy life. Hope is a lover's staff. Walk hence with that, and manage it against despairing thoughts. Thy letters may be here, though thou art hence, which, being writ to me, shall be delivered, even with the milk-white bosom of thy love. The time now serves not to expostulate. Come, I'll convey thee through the city gate, and ere I part with thee, confer at large of all that may concern thy love affairs. As thou lovest Sylvia, though not for thyself, regard thy danger and long with me.
I pray thee, Launce, and if thou seest my boy, bid him make haste and meet me at the north gate.
Go, Sirrah, find him out. Come, Valentine.
Oh, my dearest Sylvia, hapless Valentine.
Oh, I'm but a fool, look you. And yet I have the wit to think my master is a kind of knave. Yeah, but that's all one, if he be but one knave. He lives not now that knows me to be in love. Yet I am in love. But a team of horse shall not pluck that from me, nor who 'tis I love. And yet 'tis a woman. Yeah, but what woman? I will not tell myself. And yet 'tis a milkmaid. Yet 'tis not a maid, for she hath had gossips. Yet 'tis a maid, for she is her master's maid and serves her wages. She hath more qualities than a water spaniel. which is much in a bare Christian. Here is the catalogue of her condition. In primis, she can fetch and carry. Well, a horse can do more. Nay, a horse cannot fetch, but only carry. Therefore she is better than a jade. Item, she can milk. Look you, a sweet virtue on a maid with clean hands.
How now, Signor Lance? What news with your mastership?
Why, with my mastership? Why, it is at sea.
Well, your old vice still mistake the word. What news then in your paper?
Oh, the blackest news that ever thou heardst.
Why, man? How black?
Why, as black as ink.
Let me read it then.
Oh, fie on thou jolt head. Thou canst not read.
Thou liest, I can.
I will try thee. Tell me this, who begot thee?
Harry, the son of my grandfather.
Oh, illiterate loiterer. It was the son of thy grandmother. This proves thou cannot read.
Come, fool, come, try me in thy paper.
There. And St. Nicholas be thy speed.
Imprimus. She can milk.
Aye, that she can.
Item. She brews good ale.
And therefore comes the proverb, blessing of your heart, you brew good ale.
Item. She can sew.
No, that's as much as to say, can she sew?
Item. She can knit.
Well, what need a man care for a stock with a wench which he can knit him a stock?
Item. She can wash and scour.
A special virtue, for then she need not be washed and scoured.
Item. She can spin.
Then may I set the world on wheels, when she can spin for her living.
Item. She hath many nameless virtues.
That's as to say bastard virtues that indeed not know their fathers and therefore have no names.
Here follow her vices.
Close on the heels of her virtues.
Item. She is not to be fasting in respect of her breath.
Well, that fault may be mended with a breakfast. Read on.
Item. She hath a sweet mouth.
But that makes amends for her sour breath.
Item. She doth talk in her sleep.
That's no matter for that. So she sleep not in her talk.
Item. She is slow in her words.
Oh, villain, that set this down among her vices, to be slow in words is a woman's only virtue. I pry thee out with it, and place it for her chief virtue.
Item. She is proud.
Oh, out with that too. It was Eve's legacy, and cannot be ta'en from her.
Item. She hath no teeth.
I care not for that neither, because I love crusts.
Item. She is cursed.
Well, the best is she hath no teeth to bite.
Item. She will often praise her liquor.
If her liquor be good, she shall. If she will not, I will, for good things should be praised.
Item. She is too liberal.
Of her tongue she cannot, for that's writ down she is slow of. Of her purse she shall not, for that I'll keep shut. Now, of another thing she may, and that cannot I help. Well, proceed.
Item. She hath more hair than wit, and more faults than hairs, and more wealth than faults.
Stop there. I'll have her. She was mine, and not mine, twice or thrice in that last article. Rehearse that once more.
Item. She hath more hair than wit.
More hair than wit. It may be, I'll prove it. The cover of the salt hides the salt, and therefore it is more than the salt. The hair that covers the wit is more than the wit, for the greater hides the less. What's next?
And more faults than hairs.
Oh, that's monstrous. Oh, that were out.
And more wealth than faults.
Why, that word makes the false gracious. Well, I'll have her, and if it be a match, as nothing is impossible.
What then?
Why then, I will tell thee that thy master stays for thee at the north gate.
For me?
For thee? I, who art thou? He hath stayed for a better man than thee.
And must I go to him?
Thou must run to him, for thou hast stayed so long that going will scarce serve the turn.
Why didst thou tell me sooner? Packs of your love letters.
Oh, now will he be swinged from reading my letter, an unmannerly slave that will thrust himself into secrets. Oh, I'll after to rejoice in the boy's correction.
Exeunt, Scena Secunda, enter Duke Thurio Proteus.
Sir Thurio, fear not but that she will love you, now Valentine is banished from her sight.
Since her exile, she hath despised me more, forsworn my company, and railed at me, that I am desperate of obtaining her.
This weak impress of love is as a figure trenched in ice, which with an hour's heat dissolves to water and doth lose his form. A little time will melt her frozen thoughts, and worthless Valentine shall be forgot. How now, Sir Proteus? Is your countryman, according to our proclamation, gone?
Gone, my good lord.
My daughter takes his going grievously.
A little time, my lord, will kill that grief.
So I believe, but Thurio thinks not so. Proteus, the good conceit I hold of thee, for thou hast shown some sign of good desert, makes me the better to confer with thee.
Longer than I prove loyal to your grace, let me not live to look upon your grace.
Thou knowest how willingly I would effect the match between Sir Thurio and my daughter.
I do, my lord.
And also I think thou art not ignorant how she opposes her against my will.
She did, my lord, when Valentine was here.
Aye, and perversely she persevers so. What might we do to make the girl forget the love of Valentine and love Sir Thurio?
The best way is to slander Valentine with falsehood, cowardice, and poor dissent. Three things that women highly hold in hate.
Aye, but you'll think that it is spoken hate.
Aye, if his enemy deliver it. Therefore it must with circumstance be spoken by one whom she esteemeth as his friend.
Then you must undertake to slander him.
And that, my lord, I shall be loath to do. 'Tis an ill office for a gentleman, especially against his very friend.
Where your good word cannot advantage him, your slander never can damage him. Therefore the office is indifferent, being entreated to it by your friend.
You have prevailed, my lord, if I can do it, by aught that I can speak in his depraise. She shall not long continue to love him, but say this weed her love from Valentine. It follows not that she will love Sir Thurio.
Therefore, as you unwind her love from him, lest it should ravel and be good to none, you must provide to bottom it on me, which must be done by praising me as much as you, in worth dispraise Sir Valentine.
And Proteus, we dare trust you in this kind because we know on Valentine's report you are already love's firm votary and cannot soon revolt and change your mind. Upon this warrant shall you have access, where you with Silvia may confer at large, for she is lumpish, heavy, melancholy, and for your friend's sake will be glad of you, where you may temper her by your persuasion to hate young Valentine and love my friend.
As much as I can do, I will effect. But you, Sir Thurio, are not sharp enough. You must lay lime to tangle her desires by wailful sonnets whose composed rhymes should be full fraught with serviceable vows.
Aye, much the force of heaven-bred poesy.
Say that upon the altar of her beauty, you sacrifice your tears, your sighs, your heart, right till your ink be dry with your tears, moist it again, and frame some feeling line. Integrity. For Orpheus' lute was strung with poets' sinews, whose golden touch could soften steel and stones, make tigers tame and huge leviathans forsake unsounded deeps to dance on sand. After your dire lamenting elegies, visit by night your lady's chamber window with some sweet consort. To their instruments tune a deploring doom. The night's dead silence will well become such sweet complaining grievance. This, or else nothing will inherit her.
This discipline shows thou hast been in love.
And thy advice this night I'll put into practice. Therefore, sweet Proteus, my direction giver, let us into the city presently to sort some gentlemen well skilled in music. I have a sonnet that will serve the tune to give the onset to thy good advice.
About it, gentlemen.
We'll wait upon your grace till after supper, and afterward determine our proceedings.
Even now about it, I will pardon you.
Exeunt, actus quartus scena prima. Enter Valentine, Speed, and certain outlaws.
Fellows, stand fast. I see a passenger.
If there be 10, shrink not, but down with them.
Sir, we are undone. These are the villains and all the travelers. Do fear so much.
My friends.
It's not so, sir. We are your enemies.
Peace, we'll hear him.
I by my beard will we, for he's a proper man.
Then know that I have little wealth to lose. A man I am, crossed with adversity. My riches are these poor habiliments, of which if you should here disfurnish me, you take the sum and substance that I have.
Whither travel you?
To Verona.
Whence came you?
From Milan.
How have you long sojourned there?
Some 16 months and longer might have stayed if crooked fortune had not thwarted me.
What, were you banished thence?
I was.
For what offense?
For that which now torments me to rehearse. I killed a man, whose death I much repent, but yet I slew him manfully in fight, without false vantage or base treachery.
Why ne'er repented if it were done so? Or were you banished for so small a fault?
I was, and held me glad of such a doom.
Have you the tongues?
My youthful travel therein made me happy, or else I had been miserable.
By the bare scalp of Robin Hood's fat friar, this fellow were a king for our wild faction.
We'll have him. Sirs, a word.
Master, be one of them. It's an honorable kind of thievery.
Peace, villain.
Tell us this. Have you anything to take to?
Nothing but my fortune.
Know then that some of us are gentlemen, such as the fury of ungoverned youth, thrust from the company of awful men. Myself was from Verona banished for practicing to steal away a lady, and heir and niece allied unto the Duke.
And I from Mantua for a gentleman whom in my mood I stabbed unto the heart.
And I, for such light petty crimes as these, but to the purpose, for we cite our faults that they may hold excused our lawless lives. And partly seeing you are beautified with goodly shape, and by your own report, a linguist and a man of such perfection as we do in our quality much want.
Indeed, because you are a banished man, therefore, above the rest, we parley to you. Are you content to be our general, to make a virtue of necessity and live as we do in this wilderness?
What sayst thou? Wilt thou be of our consort? Say I, and be the captain of us all. will do thee homage and be ruled by thee, love thee as our commander and our king.
But if thou scornst our courtesy, thou diest.
Thou shalt not live to brag what we have offered.
I take your offer and will live with you, provided that you do no outrages on silly women or poor passengers.
No, we detest such base practices. Come, go with us. We'll bring thee to our cruise and show thee all the treasure we have got, which, with ourselves, all rest at thy dispose.
Exeunt. Scena secunda, enter Proteus.
Already have I been false to Valentine, and now I must be unjust to Thurio, under the color of commending him. I have access my own love to prefer, but Sylvia is too fair, too true, too holy to be corrupted with my worthless gifts. When I protest truly loyalty to her, she twists me with my falsehood to my friend. When to her beauty I commend my vows, she bids me think how I have been forsworn, in breaking faith with Julia, whom I loved, and notwithstanding all her sedane quips, the least whereof would quell a lover's hope. Yet, spaniel-like, the more she spurns my love, the more it grows, the fawneth on her still. And here comes Thurio. Now must we to her window and give some evening music to her ear.
Enter Thurio and musician.
How now, Sir Proteus? Are you crept before us?
Aye, gentle Thurio, for you know that love will creep in service where it cannot go.
Aye, but I hope, sir, that you love not here.
Sir, but I do, or else I would not be hence.
Who? Sylvia?
Aye, Sylvia, for your sake.
Oh, I thank you for your own. Now, gentlemen, let's tune and to it lustily a while.
Now, my young guest, methinks thou old collie, and I pray you, why is it?
Marry, mine host, because I cannot be merry.
Come, we'll have you merry. I'll bring you where you shall hear music and see gentlemen that you ask for.
But shall I hear him speak?
Aye, that you shall.
That will be music.
Hark, hark.
Is he among these?
Aye, but peace. Let's hear him.
Who is Sylvia? What is she? That our swains command her. Holy, fair, and wise is she. The heavens such grace did lend her, that she might admired be. Is she kind as she is fair? For beauty lives with kindness. Love doth to her eyes repair, to help him of his blindness, and being helped inhabits there. Then to Sylvia let us sing, that Sylvia is excelling. She excels our all mortal things, upon the door dwelling. To us her let us garlands bring.
How now? Are you sadder than you were before? How do you, man? The music likes you not.
You mistake. The musician likes me not.
Why, my pretty mouth. Youth.
He plays false, father.
How out of tune on the strings.
Not so, but yet so false, he grieves my very heartstrings.
You have a quick ear.
I would I were deaf. It makes me have a slow heart.
I perceive you delight not in music.
Not a whit, when it jars so.
Hark! What fine change is in the music.
Aye, that change is the spite.
You would have them always play but one thing.
I would always have one play but one thing. But host, doth this Sir Proteus that we talk on often resort unto this gentlewoman?
I tell you what Lance his man told me. He loved her out of all Nick.
Where is Launce?
Gone to seek his dog, which tomorrow, by his master's command, he must carry for a present to his lady.
Peace, stand aside, the company parts.
Sir Thurio, fear not you, I will so plead that you shall say my cunning drift excels.
Where meet we?
Say,
Well,
Madam?
farewell.
Madam, good evening to your ladyship.
I thank you for your music, gentlemen. Who is it that spake?
One lady, if you knew his pure heart's truth, you would quickly learn to know him by his voice.
Sir Proteus, as I take it?
Sir Proteus, gentle lady, and your servant.
What's your will?
That I may compass yours.
You have your wish. My will is even this, that presently you come home to bed, thou subtile, perjured, false, disloyal man. Thinkest thou I am so shallow, so conceitless to be seduced by thy flattery, that hast deceived so many with thy vows? Return and make thy love amends. For me, by this pale queen of night, I swear, I am so far from granting thy request, that I despise thee for thy wrongful suit, and by intend to chide myself, even for this time I spend in talking to thee.
I grant, sweet love, that I did love a lady, but she is dead.
'Twere false if I should speak it, for I am sure she is not buried.
Yea, that she be. Yet Valentine, thy friend, survives, to whom thyself art witness I am betrothed. And art thou not ashamed to wrong him with thy importunacy?
Well, I likewise hear that Valentine is dead.
And so suppose am I, for in her grave assure thyself my love is buried.
Sweet lady, let me rake it from the earth.
Go to thy lady's grave and call hers thence, or at the least, in hers, sepulture thine.
You heard not that.
Madam, if your heart be so obdurate, vouchsafe me yet your picture for my love, the picture that is hanging in your chamber. To that I'll speak, to that I'll sigh and weep, for since the substance of your perfect self is else devoted, I am but a shadow, and your shadow will I make true love.
If 'twere a substance, you would sure deceive it, and make it but a shadow, as I am.
I am very loath to be your idol, sir, but since your falsehood shall become you well to worship shadows and adore false shapes, send to me in the morning, and I'll send it. And so, good rest.
As wretches have o'er night, that wait for execution in the morn.
Host, will you go?
Marry at my house, trust me, I think 'tis almost day.
Not so, but it hath been the longest night that e'er I watched, and the most heaviest.
Sina Tertia, enter Eglamour and Sylvia.
This is the hour that Madam Sylvia entreated me to call and know her mind. And there's some great matter she'd employ me in. Madam,
Who calls?
your servant and your friend, one that attends your ladyship command.
Sir Eglamour, 1,000 times good morrow.
As many, worthy lady, to yourself, according to your ladyship's impose. I am thus early come, and to know what service it is your pleasure to command me in.
O Eglamour, thou art gentleman. Think I not flatter, for I swear I do not. Valiant, wise, remorseful, well accomplished. Thou art not ignorant what dear goodwill I bear unto the banished Valentine, nor how my father would enforce me marry vain Thurio, whom my very soul abhorred. Thyself hast loved, and I have heard thee say no grief did ever come so near thy heart as when thy lady and thy true love did, upon whose grave thou vowest pure chastity. Sir Eglamour, I would to Valentine, to Mantua, where I hear he makes abode, and for the Wales or dangerous to pass, I do desire thy worthy company, upon whose faith and honor I repose. Urge not my father's anger, Eglamour, but think upon my grief, a lady's grief, and on the justice of my flying hence to keep me from a most unholy match. which heaven and fortune still rewards with plagues. I do desire thee, even from a heart as full of sorrows as a sea of sands, to bear me company, and go with me, if not to hide what I have said to thee, that I may venture to depart alone.
Madam, I pity much your grievances, which since I know they virtuously are placed, I give consent to go along with you, wreaking as little what betideth me, as much I wish all good fortune to you. When will you go?
This evening coming.
Where shall I meet you?
At Friar Patrick's cell, where I intend holy confession.
I will not fail your ladyship. Good morrow, gentle lady.
Good morrow, kind Sir Eglamour.
Exeunt, Sine Quarta, enter Launce.
When a man's servant shall play the cur with him, look you, it goes hard. One that I brought up of a puppy, one that I'd saved from drowning, when 3 or 4 of his blind sisters and brothers went to it. I have taught him, even as one would say precisely, thus I would teach a dog. I was sent to deliver him as a present to Mistress Sylvia from my master, and I came no sooner into the dining chamber, but he steps me to her trencher and steals her capon's leg. Oh, 'tis a foul thing when a cur cannot keep himself in all companies. I would have, as one should say, one that takes upon him to be a dog indeed, to be, as it were, a dog at all things. If I had not had more wit than he to take a fault upon me that he did, I think verily he has been hanged for it. Sure, as I live, he had suffered for it. Well, you shall judge. He thrusts me himself into the company of 3 or 4 gentlemanlike dogs, under the Duke's table. He had not been there, bless the mark, a pissing while, but all the chamber smelt him. Out with the dog, says one. What cur is that, says another. Whip him out, says the third. Hang him up, says the Duke. Look, I have been acquainted with the smell before. I knew it was crab. And goes me to the fellow that whips the dogs. Friend, quoth I, you mean to whip the dog? Ay, marry do I, quoth he. You do me him the more wrong, quoth I. 'Twas I did the thing you wot of. He makes me no more ado, but whips me out the chamber. Oh, how many masters would do this for his servant? Nay, I'll be sworn, I have sat in the stocks for puddings he hath stolen. Otherwise he had been executed. I have stood in the pillory for geese he hath killed, otherwise he had suffered for it. Thou thinkst not of this now. Nay, I think of the trick you served me when I took my leave of Madam Sylvia. Did I not bid thee still mark me? And do as I do. When didst thou see me heave up my leg and make water against a gentlewoman's farthingale? Didst thou ever see me do such a trick?
Sebastian is thy name. I like thee well, and I will employ thee in some service presently.
In what you please, I'll do what I can.
I hope thou wilt. How now, you whoreson peasant? Where have you been these 2 days loitering?
Marry, sir, I carried Mistress Sylvia the dog you bade me.
And what says she to my little jewel?
Marry, she says your dog was a cur and tells you cherished thanks is good enough for such a present.
But she received my dog.
No, indeed, she did not. Here, I have brought him back again.
But what didst thou offer her this for me?
Aye, sir. The other squirrel was stolen from me by the hangman's boys in the marketplace, and then I offered her mine own, who is a dog as big as 10 of yours, and therefore the gift the greater.
Go, get thee hence, and find my dog again, or ne'er return again into my sight. Away, I say, and stayest thou to vex me here? A slave that still an end turns me to shame. Sebastian, I have entertained thee, partly that I have need for such a youth, that can with some discretion do my business, for 'tis no trusting to yon foolish lout, but chiefly for thy face and thy behavior, which, if my augury deceive me not, witness good bringing up fortune and truth. Therefore, know thee, for this I entertain thee. Go presently, and take this ring with thee. Deliver it to Madam Sylvia. She loved me well, and delivered it to me.
It seems you love not her, not leave her token. Is she dead, belike?
Not so. I think she lives.
Alas,
Why dost thou cry, alas?
I cannot choose but pity her.
Wherefore shouldst thou pity her?
Because methinks that she loved you as well as you do love your lady Sylvia. She dreams on him that has forgot her love. You dote on her that cares not for your love. 'Tis pity love should be so contrary. And thinking on it makes me cry, alas.
Well, give her that ring, and therewithal this letter, and that's her chamber. Tell my lady I claim the promise for her heavenly picture. Your message done, hie home unto my chamber, where thou shalt find me sad and solitary.
How many women would do such a message? Alas, poor Proteus, thou hast entertained a fox to be the shepherd of thy lambs. Alas, poor fool, why do I pity him, that with his very heart despiseth me? Because he loves her, he despiseth me. Because I love him, I must pity him. This ring I gave him when he parted from me, to bind me to remember my goodwill, and now I am, unhappy messenger, to plead for that which I would not obtain, to carry that which I would have refused, to praise his faith which I would have dispraised. I am my master's true confirmed love, but cannot be true servant to my master unless I prove false traitor to myself. Yet will I woo for him, but yet so coldly as heaven it knows I would not have him speed. Gentlewoman, good day. I pray you be my mean to bring me where to speak with Madam Sylvia.
What would you with her, if that I be she?
If you be she, I do entreat your patience to hear me speak the message I am sent on.
From whom?
From my master, Sir Proteus, madam.
Oh, he sends you for a picture?
Aye, madam.
Ursula, bring my picture there. Go, give your master this. Tell him from me, one Julia, that his changing thoughts forget would better fit his chamber than this shadow.
Madam, please you peruse this letter. Pardon me, madam, I have unadvised delivered you a paper that I should not. This is the letter to your ladyship.
I pray thee, let me look on that again.
It may not be, good madam, pardon me.
There, hold. I will not look upon your master's lines. I know they are stuffed with protestations and full of newfound oaths, which he will break as easily as I do tear his paper.
Madam, he sends your ladyship this ring.
The more shame for him that he sends it me, for I have heard him say 1,000 times his Julia gave it him at his departure. Though his false finger hath profaned the ring, mine shall not do his Julia so much wrong.
She thanks you.
What sayest thou?
I thank you, madam, that you tender her. Poor gentlewoman, my master wrongs her much.
Dost thou know her?
Almost as well as I do know myself. To think upon her woes, I do protest that I have wept 100 several times.
Belike she thinks that Proteus hath forsook her?
I think she doth, and that's her cause of sorrow.
Is she not passing fair?
She hath been fairer, madam, than she is, when she did think my master loved her well. She, in my judgment, was as fair as you, but since she did neglect her looking glass and threw her sun-expelling mask away, the air hath starved the roses in her cheeks and pinched the lily tincture of her face, that now she is become as black as I.
How tall was she?
About my stature. For at Pentecost, when all our pageants of delight were played, our youth got me to play the woman's part, and I was trimmed in Madame Julia's gown, which served me as fit, by all men's judgments, as if the garment had been made for me. Therefore I know she is about my height. And at that time I made her weep a good, for I did play a lamentable part. Madam, 'twas Ariadne passioning for Theseus' perjury and unjust flight. which I so lively acted with my tears, that my poor mistress moved therewithal wept bitterly, and would I might be dead if I in thought felt not her very sorrow.
She is beholding to thee, gentle youth. Alas, poor lady, desolate and left. I weep myself to think upon thy words. Here, youth, there is my purse. I give thee this for thy sweet mistress' sake, because thou lovest her. Farewell.
And she shall thank you for it, if e'er you know her. A virtuous gentlewoman, mild and beautiful. I hope my master's suit will be but cold, since she respects my mistress' love so much. Alas, how love can trifle with itself. Here is her picture. Let me see. I think if I had such attire, this face of mine were full as lovely as this of hers. And yet the painter flattered her a little, unless I flatter with myself too much. Her hair is auburn, mine is perfect yellow. If that be all the difference in his love, I'll get me such a colored periwig. Her eyes are gray as glass, and so are mine. But her forehead's low, and mine's is high. What should it be that he respects in her, but I can make respective in myself? If this fond love were not a blinded god. Come, shadow, come, and take this shadow up, for 'tis thy rival. O senseless form, thou shalt be worshipped, kissed, loved, and adored. And were there sense in his idolatry, my substance should be the statue in thy stead. I'll use thee kindly, for thy mistress' sake, that used me so, or else by Jove I vow, I should have scratched out your unseeing eyes to make my master out of love with thee.
Exeunt. Actus quintus, scena prima. Enter Eglamour.
Shit, I just lost it. Page 80. I just lost it. Hit the thing. Page 80.
Page 93. Page
Okay.
93, middle of the page. And we have, Michaela had to leave, so Marin will be taking over as Sylvia. Thank you.
Hold on. I just completely hit. Hold on. It's just lost the whole thing. One moment. All right, 93, you said, right?
That is it, yes.
That's the trouble with this. One moment.
Actus quintus, scena prima, enter Eglamour.
Okay, one moment. I'm almost there. Here we go. The sun begins to gild the western sky, and now it is about the very hour that Sylvia at Friar Patrick's cell should meet me. She will not fail, for lovers break not hours, unless it be to come before their time. So much they spur their expedition. See where she comes. Lady, a happy evening.
Amen, amen. Go on, good Eglamour. Out at the postern by the abbey wall, I fear I am attended by some spies.
Fear not. The forest is not but 3 leagues off. If we recover that, we are sure enough.
Exeunt. Scena secunda, enter Thurio, Proteus, Julia, Duke.
Sir Proteus, what says Sylvia to my suit?
Oh, sir, I find her milder than she was, and yet she takes exceptions at your person.
What? That my leg is too long?
No, that it is too little.
I'll wear a boot to make it somewhat rounder.
But love will not be spurred to what it loathes.
What says she to my face?
She says it is a fair one.
Nay, then the wanton lies. My face is black.
But pearls are fair, and the old saying is, black men are pearls in beauteous ladies' eyes.
It's true. Such pearls as put out ladies' eyes, for I'd rather wink than look on them. How like she might discourse?
When you talk of war.
Well, when I discourse of love and peace.
But better indeed when you hold your peace.
What says she to my valor?
Oh, sir, she makes no doubt of that.
She needs not when she knows it cowardice.
What says she to my birth?
That you are well derived.
True, from a gentleman to a fool.
Considers she my possessions?
Oh, aye, and pities them.
Wherefore?
That such an ass should owe them.
That they are out by lease.
Here comes the Duke.
How now, Sir Proteus, how now, Thurio? Which of you saw Sir Eglamour of late?
Not I.
Nor I.
Saw you my daughter?
Neither.
Why then she's fled unto that peasant's Valentine, and Eglamour is in her company. 'Tis true, for Friar Lawrence met them both, as he in penance wandered through the forest. Him he knew well, and guessed that it was she, but being masked, he was not sure of it. Besides, he did intend confession at Patrick's cell this evening, and there she was not. These likelihoods confirm her flight from hence, therefore I pray you, stand not to discourse, but mount you presently, and meet with me upon the rising of the mountain foot that leads towards Mantua, whither they are fled. Dispatch, sweet gentlemen, and follow me.
Why, this it is to be a peevish girl that flies her fortune when it follows her. I'll after, more to be revenged on Eglamour than for the love of reckless Sylvia.
And I will follow more of Sylvia's love than hate of Englemore that goes with her.
And I will follow, more to cross that love than hate for Sylvia that is gone for love.
Exeunt. Scena tertia. Enter Sylvia, outlaws.
Come, be patient. We must bring you to our captain.
A thousand more mischances than this one have learned me how to brook this patiently.
Come, bring her away.
Where's the gentleman that was with her?
Being nimble-footed, he hath outrun us. But Moses and Bolaris follow him. Go thou with her to the west of the end of the wood. There's our captain. We'll follow him that's fled. The thicket is beset. He cannot escape.
Come, I must bring you to our captain's cave. Fear not, he bears an honorable mind and will not use a woman lawlessly.
O Valentine, this I endure for thee.
Exeunt. Scena quarta. Enter Valentine. Others follow.
How use doth breed a habit in a man, this shadowy desert, unfrequented woods. I'd better brook than flourishing peopled towns. Here can I sit alone, unseen of any, and to the nightingale's complaining notes tune my distresses and record my woes. O thou that dost inhabit in my breast, leave not the mansion so long tenantless, lest growing ruinous the building fall, and leave no memory of what it was. Repair me with thy presence, Sylvia, thou gentle nymph, cherish thy forlorn swain. What hollowing and what stir is this today? These are my mates that make these wills their law, and some unhappy passenger in chance. They love me well, yet I have much to do to keep them from uncivil outrages. Withdraw thee, Valentine. Who's this comes here?
Madam, this service I have done for you, though you respect not aught your servant doth, to hazard life and rescrew you from him, that would have forced your honor and your love. Vouchsafe me for my meed, but one fair look. A smaller boon than this I cannot beg, and less than this I am sure you cannot give.
How like a dream is this? I see and hear. Love, lend me patience to forbear a while.
Oh, miserable, unhappy that I am.
Unhappy were you, madam, ere I came, but by my coming I have made you happy.
By thy approach thou makest me most unhappy.
And me, when he approacheth to your presence.
Had I been seized by a hungry lion, I would have been a breakfast to the beast, rather than have false Proteus rescue me. Oh, heaven be judge how I love Valentine, whose life is tender to me as my soul, as full as much for more there cannot be. I do detest false, perjured Proteus. Therefore be gone, solicit me no more.
What dangerous action stood it next to death would I not undergo for one calm look? Oh, 'tis the curse in love, and still approved when woman cannot love where they're beloved.
When Proteus cannot love where he's beloved, read over Julia's heart thy first best love, for whose dear sake thou didst then rend thy faith into 1,000 oaths, and all those oaths descended into perjury to love me. Thou hast no faith left now unless thou didst too, and that's far worse than none. Better have none than plural faith, which is too much by one, thou counterfeit to thy true friend.
In love, who respects friends?
All men but Proteus.
Nay, if the gentle spirit of moving words can no way change you from a milder form, I'll woo you like a soldier at arm's end and love you against the nature of love. Force ye.
Oh, heaven!
I'll force thee yield to my desire.
Ruffian, let go that rude uncivil touch, thou friend of an ill fashion.
Valentine.
Thou common friend, that's without faith or love, for such is a friend now. Treacherous man, thou hast beguiled my hopes, naught but my eye could have persuaded me. Now I dare not say I have one friend alive. Thou wouldst disprove me. Who should be trusted when one's right hand is procured to the bosom? Proteus, I am sorry I must never trust thee more, but count the world a stranger for thy sake. The private wound is deepest, O time most accursed, amongst all foes, that a friend should be the worst.
My shame and guilt confounds me. Forgive me, Valentine, if hearty sorrow be a sufficient ransom for offense. I tender here, I do as truly suffer as ere I did commit.
Then I am paid, and once again I do receive the honest, by who repentance is not satisfied, is nor of heaven nor earth, for these are pleased, by penitence the enthralled rats appeased, and that my love may appear plain and free, all that was mine in Sylvia I give to thee.
Oh, me unhappy.
Look to the boy.
Why, boy? Why, Wag? How now? What's the matter? Look up, speak.
Oh, good sir, my master charged me to deliver a ring to Madame Sylvia, which out of my neglect was never done.
Where is that ring, boy?
Here it is. This is it.
How? Let me see. This is the ring I gave to Julia.
Oh, cry you mercy, sir, I have mistook. This is the ring you sent to Sylvia.
But how camest thou by this ring? At my depart, I gave this unto Julia.
And Julia herself did give it me. And Julia herself hath brought it hither.
How? Julia?
Behold her, that gave aim to all thy oaths, and entertained them deeply in her heart. How oft hast thou with perjury cleft the root? O Proteus, let this habit make thee blush. Be thou ashamed that I have took upon me such an immodest raiment, if shame live in a disguise of love. It is the lesser blot modesty finds, women to change their shapes, then men their minds.
Then mend their minds. 'Tis true. Oh, heaven were man but constant, he were perfect. That one error fills him with faults, makes him run through all the sins. Inconstancy falls off ere it begins. What is in Sylvia's face but I may spy more fresh in Julia's with the constant eye?
Come, a hand from either. Let me be blessed to make this happy close. For pity's two such friends should be long foes.
Bear witness, heaven, I bear witness, heaven, I have my wish forever.
And I mine.
Enter outlaws with Duke and Thurio.
A prize! A prize! A prize!
Forbear, I say. It is my lord the Duke. Your grace is welcome to a man disgraced, banished Valentine.
Sir Valentine?
Yonder is Sylvia, and Sylvia's mine.
Thurio, give back or else embrace thy death. Come not within the measure of my wrath. Do not name Sylvia thine, for once again, Verona shall not hold thee. Here she stands, take but possession of her. With a touch, I dare thee but to breathe upon my love.
Sir Valentine, I care not for her. I hold him but a fool that will endanger his body for a girl that loves him not. I claim her not, and therefore she is thine.
The more degenerate and base art thou, to make such means for her as thou hast done, and leave her on such slight conditions? Now, by the honor of my ancestry, I do applaud thy spirit, Valentine, and think thee worthy of an empress' love. Know then, I here forget all former griefs, cancel all grudge, repeal thee home again, plead a new state in thy unrivaled merit, to which I thus subscribe. Sir Valentine, thou art a gentleman and well derived. Take thou thy Sylvia, for thou hast deserved her.
I thank your grace. Your gift hath made me happy. I now beseech you, for your daughter's sake, to grant one boon that I shall ask of you.
I grant it for thine own, whate'er it be.
These banished men that I have kept withal are men endued with worthy qualities. Forgive them what they have committed here, and let them be recalled from exile. They are reformed, civil, full of good, and fit for great employment, worthy lord.
Thou hast prevailed. I pardon them, and thee, dispose of them as thou knowest their deserts. Come, let us go. We will include all jars with triumphs, mirth, and rare solemnity.
And as we walk along, I dare be bold with our discourse to make your grace to smile. What think you of this page, my lord?
I think the boy hath grace in him, he blushes.
I warrant you, my lord, more grace than boy.
What mean you by that saying?
Please you, I'll tell you as we pass along, that you will wonder what hath fortuned. Come, Proteus, 'tis your penance, but to hear the story of your loves discovered. That done, our day of marriage shall be yours. One feast, one house, one mutual happiness.
Excellent. Fini, well done. Well done. Thank you all very much. Thank you for everyone who participated. Thank you for those who attended. I just sort of promote everybody to panelists afterwards in case they have anything they want to say. But I just want to say this was very good. It is funny the way the that ending just happens so quick with the okay, he's about to rape her, and then he stops. And then, I mean, what? And then Valentine's like, oh well, I'm sorry. And then
And it forgives him so quickly. Like, okay.
Yeah, no, and also I'd like to just sort of see with Julia, how do you feel at the end in terms of getting back up with Proteus again? What's your feeling about that?
I mean, she seems to be fine with it. I'd be a little like, I think I've changed my mind about this guy.
Yeah, no. I mean, because usually it is, because it's just like, oh yeah, one feast, one house, one mutual happiness. Everybody's happy. This is a comedy. It all ends happy. A very good production of it I saw a few years ago at Shakespeare and Company kind of made it very clear by the way it was played that Julia wanted nothing more to do with Proteus, which can be quite understandable. I mean, not just of wooing somebody else, but practically, I mean, he's almost ready to rape her, so that's but that was also one of the other great things in that was I've often seen it done where the chords that it's very like subtle sort of chords that you can have in a cloak and then take them out. No, there's this little subtle rope ladder, but he had like this huge ladder that was wrapped around his body so that it was like out to here. So it was like clear to everybody that he was carrying a ladder on him. And then after he's discovered by the Duke and set down, he just sort of lies down on the stage and he lay there and that's when they took the intermission. And so he just lay there for the whole intermission. But thank you all very much.
The editing of it, at the part where the outlaws say that they are gentlemen who have all done wrong, and then they're pardoned at the very end. It says Gilbert and Sullivan took a page from that in the Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah. No, and I mean, because it is also, I mean, that they do sort of have their code, and I mean that Valentine is like, I mean, well, just as long as you don't do any outrages on silly women, that's and they agree to that, and then there is his best friend trying to do some outrages. So, but yeah, it was excellent work, everybody. Thank you. Thanks so much for doing this.
Paul, I had one note. This is my first time reading this, and there's one thing I picked up on bottom of page 83. Sylvia mentions Friar. This might be a known thing, but she mentions Friar Patrick. Then again in the next scene, she refers him to as Friar Lawrence. Was that like an oversight in Shakespeare?
I think they're two different.
Yeah, well, I think what it is that actually it's Friar Lawrence is the one who saw her and made the report to the Duke that the Duke heard that they were going. So I think it is that they're different ones, although one does sort of wonder about, I mean, all of these things in Italy, and I mean, the Duke is the Duke of Milan. So is this Prospero or Antonio or a different Duke of Milan?
Or him writing Romeo and Juliet, like maybe he's thinking about, Friar Lawrence. And I think similar time, I think he wrote it right after.
Yeah,
they're both in Verona.
And yeah, exactly. A lot of similarities.
I was thinking.
I just want to say a word. It's Milk. I really enjoyed this. I liked the singing too. They were singing.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eleanor.
It was very clear to me. I had mentioned to Paul I saw in 1971, I think the musical version, and I think a subsequent production in the park. I don't know if I mixed that up with Comedy of Errors, the Twins, but this was great. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for being our audience.
I also noticed this thing about Jews, where he has this thing about Jew this and Jew that. I think Shakespeare had something against Jewish people, I can see by his writing.
Or at least
you didn't know that many.
At least he puts that into the mouths of these lower class people.
Yeah. Well, and it is. And I mean, we have to also remember that there weren't any Jews in England. I mean, there were just some who may have come as like merchants occasionally, but Jews were banned from England. So by making jokes about Jews, it was very, very common. I mean, I think that actually that, I mean, I really feel that with Merchant of Venice and with Shylock, that he actually does so much more to humanize the Jews as opposed to what Christopher Marlowe did in The Jew of Malta, where he makes the Jew into some kind of super villain almost. But yeah, it is, there are those things, yeah. Yeah, Mel, did you have something else?
He supposedly, Shakespeare saw the beheading or the stringing up of Dr. Lopez's name, Paul, who was accused of in an assassination plot against the Queen. So he knew, I guess he knew a few Jews here and there, maybe.
Yeah. Well, but even that, I mean, Dr. Lopez was supposedly converted as a Christian. And I mean, that was one of the big jokes at his trial. It's like, but I never would try and kill Queen Elizabeth because I love her like I love Jesus Christ, because he had done what he was supposed to do and professed himself a Christian. And apparently that got a huge laugh line at his trial, where he was found guilty, even though he wasn't guilty of, I mean, he was the doctor. If he'd been trying to assassinate Elizabeth, he probably could have done it, you know? So, and it was really that he was a political enemy of Essex. And so that's why he was victimized. There is some suggestion that actually he was involved in secret negotiations with Spain, but that and so that was sort of would have been very suspect, and also that he may have still actually been a Jew and secretly trying to help other Jews out of Spain and to other places in Europe, because I mean there weren't Jews allowed in England, and but I mean it wasn't as bad for them as it was in Spain. I mean in other parts of Europe.
Did that changed at some point, didn't they? About Jews coming, must have.
Yes, that's the best thing I can say about Oliver Cromwell, was that Cromwell, when they got rid of the kings and the monarchy and had the Puritan, where they also closed the theaters, he also, to try and build up business, he allowed the Jews back into England.
When was that, I wonder? What time was that?
It was somewhere in the, I believe, around 1650.
Yeah.
So yeah, any other thoughts, observations? I mean, I think it's really interesting to hear about this musical of The Two Gentlemen of Verona, which was with Raul Julia, and it actually won the Tony for Best Musical. But as far as I can see, it hasn't been revived or done many other places. Although the public has done a number of musicals based on Shakespeare recently. I mean, the Twelfth Night, they did it. Actually, and Love's Labor's Lost, they did a few years ago, because there is music in it. And, any other comments? Or
I think I saw this once as a feminist play. They did it in the East Village as a feminist play, sort of like demon, making fun of all these horrible men.
I do like that Julie and Sylvia seem to be like, I mean, maybe not friends, they don't have many scenes together, but that they both stick up for each other and seem to respect each other. I like that.
Yes.
I want them to be besties after the play's over.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really, it's such a terrific scene where I mean, Julia is sort of having to do that. So I realize people have to go, have other things to do, so you can just sign off.
Any word on what will be next Saturday yet? Any word, advance word?
It'll be a play by Shakespeare.
Oh, that's good. He's a good writer.
This is killing me.
That's novel.
Decided at this point. So,
You just decided.
yeah, I've decided what we're doing on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday on our Exploring Shakespeare, we're going to talk about Shakespeare in Protest. And on Thursday, instead of having a reading, I just want to have an opportunity for anybody who wants to come and like read some things and sort of talk about reading on Zoom and reading the first folio, and just also a lot as to how to learn the clues of the folio that sometimes are very difficult. and some of the things that I reproduce of the folio that aren't helpful, like the Y with 2 lines in it is just sort of a placeholder for usually that or them or some word like that, where it's not determinant. But so that's one of the things to deal with, and some of the interesting spellings as well, although I feel they really can be clues as well. But yeah, I'm trying to work on my schedule for June, and I'll be emailing you and posting it shortly. So thank you.
Just to let you know about a different world of Shakespeare, I saw this at Pitlochry Rep back in the late 60s, early 70s. And in those days in Britain, you always had a prompt associated with the show. They'd often be hidden backstage. Sometimes they'd be down off the stage, sitting somewhere. And Pitlochry did this with the prompt actually sitting with the book on stage in one of those hanging basket chairs. And he was then part of the action. And every so often they'd get upset with him and spin him round.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I know with that is something with like Patrick Tucker with the original Shakespeare practices, and one of the things that actually Actors Shakespeare Company had done, where they would do it where you just sort of learn it from your scrolls, and then you do have a prompter to sort of help if somebody gets lost, which yeah, I think is
when I came over here first in 74, and I came to Athens, Georgia in the south, and started doing shows there. And that's the first time I'd ever done a show where there wasn't a prompt. And it was quite scary until I got used to this idea. You didn't know the lines. It was just you sort of, in the back of your head, you relied on the fact that there's someone with a book out there.
Yeah. Well, that is
sort of like a trapeze artist with a net. Maybe.
That's right. That was your safety net. And with some of the companies I've been in, you can't actually rely on the other people in the cast bailing you out if you go up.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's well, that's part of what makes live theater live is what
absolutely
go wrong. And sometimes it can be really terrifying, and sometimes it can be really great when you find a way.
I hear sometimes they have an earpiece in someone's ear if they forget.
Nowadays, yeah, Angela Lansbury did when she did one of the shows on Broadway. Yeah.
Well, aren't people supposed to know their lines? I mean, this is a reading, but in an actual full-out performance, you're supposed to know your lines.
But sometimes as people age, it's harder. Like someone gets much older, it's harder for them. I heard, like, what's her name? Mary Tyler Moore or some other people. As they get older, the mind is not as sharp sometimes.
I mean, I'm 71 now, and it's tough to learn all the lines for a large part.
It doesn't have to be Alzheimer's. It can just be not knowing lines. It doesn't have to be that far.
Your memory starts to fail.
Well, it's never been easy for me to learn lines by heart, even young. So, you have to do it anyway, somehow.
It's different when someone ages. They have a reason. And I'm sorry, but I do disagree there.
Well, and it's also in terms of places where they sort of have used a prompter. A lot of times that was when you were actually, what we have very little example of in this country, playing in a repertory system, where you have like 3 or 4 or 5 different plays that you're doing. And so there's a lot of lines to keep track of.
That's right.
Paul.
But even over here, sorry.
I have a colleague who was in Midsummer's Night Dream, and I don't know if it's common directors, but the actors had to have all their lines memorized.
I did too, but not recently.
So I don't know how unusual that is, but to modify and work with the lines in production, they had to know them before they came to the first rehearsal.
Yeah, well, I know that was Bill Coward's practice, right?
But that's also
that was
there are those who,
practice as well.
but if you're working with particularly summer rep and dinner theatre in this country, the kids who are coming in are expected to know all their lines because they've got a 2-week rehearsal period to put it all to music, to learn the choreography and everything else. So they're expected to have the lines off. But if you're developing a serious play, then you start to do what's more common in Europe, that you absorb the lines as you're developing the character, and you can't actually just throw words on top of a character because the words have to come out of the character. And to do it when you know all the lines can be very difficult for a lot of people. It's also easier to remember lines if you're learning them with the movement and the blocking and the interaction.
That's true.
You sit learning lines at home with your wife or somebody who's helping you, or on a bus muttering to yourself, and then you get into the theatre and bingo, someone's throwing you something off the loop that you've got to suddenly adapt to, and you might as well not have learned them because the thought behind them and the thought process that you're going through is very, very different. I mean, I worked with a young cocktail rep in Manhattan, and there were times when I was finishing a run in one show, about getting ready for opening in another show, and starting rehearsals on a third show. And that's tricky. When you're getting on a bit, and your brain doesn't function as well.
That's right.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
David.
I want to thank also, I mean, some of our first time participants, but most of them have gone already. So but this was great. And thank you all very much.
Look forward to hearing from you again. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Adieu.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
And Paul, my mom wanted to say how much she enjoyed the reading.
Yes, I was able to watch part of it, and then there was a physical therapist here. But everybody did a good job, and God bless and be safe.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dolores. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it and you were able to watch it. And yeah, it's great. So yeah, we'll figure out what's coming up next, and I will let you know. And I thank you. And we'll have another one next Saturday, and then we'll also figure out more of the schedule hopefully by then, and hopefully to do more of these, and hopefully we'll be able to do some stuff in person at the libraries or some other sorts of things, as I am determined to do some outdoor Shakespeare this summer.
Yeah.
Even if it has to be the Masked Shakespeare Company. So
yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Actually, there are 8 branches of New York City Public Library are open already.
Really?
Yeah. I did not know that.
I got email from the president of the library, and right now they are only doing what you quickly to pick up your hold and then return quickly. But they are going to open the computer, all those kind of, so people can go into the library to do things. They use these 8 branches to come out with the best practice, and then they will open more shortly. So I was thinking about our performance can be in some library branch already.
Could you forward that email to me, please?
Oh, sure. I'll do it shortly.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear of it. I mean, I think it will be quite some time before they allow sort of indoor events.
Right.
We might be able to see if some places that have any kind of sort of outdoor space, if something might be possible, but
perhaps we could perform distance on the steps of the main library, spaced out between the lions, under their gaze.
We should make a small movie of that one. That would be great.
Yeah, well, that's I will reach out to the library and see if that's that's something that would be possible. That would be fun. But
bear in mind that it's getting to be summer, so it's going to be hot and punishingly.
yeah, no, outdoors in the summer wearing black, I think we will have to rethink.
Yeah.
Because I mean that is.
Well, at least here, I was in a much production in Norwich, which was the first one that was done in the Norwich Castle moat, and we had torrential rain a couple of nights, and people would just sit in their weatherproofs and put up umbrellas. We thought they'd pack up and go home, but they didn't, so we had to keep doing it.
Yeah, I heard one of my directors at one point had worked with a theater that performed Shakespeare outdoors in Seattle, and it would be raining, and people were like, "We're here with our umbrellas. We Seattle, we know it's going to rain." So
Yep. Okay, guys, thanks. Great to work with you all again.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for coming. And we'll just, so we'll end it here, and I'll be sending out more information on our upcoming events and others. So